Welcome to the Famously Local podcast. Local, not local, but famous around these parts. You are on the air with the hostess with the mostest, sharing the good news that you can use as we talk community awareness and keep you in the know. I am Angela McNeil Woods, aliasly known as that Law Hill Girl. And today, fam, I got another banger for you, okay? Now, we might as well go ahead and get relaxed and ready and get our fingers ready to get the snap. And I'm going to take y'all back a little bit. I think everybody loved the movie Love Jones. But guess what? Right here in South Carolina, we have our own poet. How about that? And so let's get our fingers snapping, family. We want to welcome poet, Laureate, poet, spoken word artist, motivational speaker, singer, and songwriter, Angelo. Jeter,
hey.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. So excited to be here. So glad to be here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, snap it up.
That's right. I couldn't bring no light. I didn't want to sit in it no.
Yeah, don't bring the lights.
Yeah, they won't let me hold.
Gotta pay the bills. You can't burn the place down.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You took your time because you are a busy man. Y'all don't have a clue, but we're gonna get into it now. Now, first and foremost, I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you, your beautiful fiance. Now, you guys have added an addition to your home, to your family, Little Langston.
Yes, Little Langston. Yeah, he's 9 weeks today.
9 weeks, really?
Yeah, already. Yeah.
Oh man, I love the shirt he had on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now I have to ask you now, because you named him Langston.
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with Langston Hughes?
Absolutely. What? Yeah, absolutely. So Langston Hughes is my favorite poet of all time. So, so actually, my fiance, it was Lula. It was her idea to name him Langston. I said, yeah, that's perfect.
I love that.
So it's been good.
Yeah, that's a powerful name.
Yeah,
too.
it is.
Oh my
God.
Classic
name.
Yes,
yeah,
that speaks money. Let me see.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Now, you're a published author.
Yes.
And about a year ago, right?
2 years now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
You released your debut poetry collection, and that is More God Than Dead.
Yes.
Okay, and guess what? I have it.
Got it. You're right.
All right, fam. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. More God Than Dead. Look at this beautiful cover.
Thank you.
And that is a huge accomplishment in itself.
For sure. Absolutely. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, who is the person who did this cover, child?
Yeah. So I'm one of my former students, Keela Lewis. She made that for me. So I made a mock-up of it, what I thought it should look like.
Wow.
Sent it to her, and she made it 1,000 times better than what I could have done.
Wow.
So shout out to Keela for that.
Keela.
She did an amazing job.
Yeah. And is she here?
She's I think she's still in Rock Hill, Charlotte area. Yeah.
Look, it's a lot of gems.
For sure, absolutely.
It's a lot of gems in the Carolinas,
Yeah,
and I don't want to sleeping on these gems no more, family. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Can't sleep. Right. Wake up. Don't go to sleep. Wake up.
That's right. Wake up. Now, so are there more plans for more books?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, as much as inspiration comes, to create writing more books and things, I would love to keep making more work, as long as I can. Right. Yeah. So I think it's for sure. I already have like some ideas for future poetry collections and things. So we'll see what happens. But I want to keep, writing and keep going as long as I can. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, so has being an author, has it always been something that you wanted to do?
What's funny is about that, I was thinking about that on the way over. Not necessarily. I grew up wanting to be like a musical artist, so I wanted to, I was convinced by the age of 16, I have a record deal and all that kind of stuff. So I was more so thinking about it from a musical standpoint, right?
Okay.
But I also think at a very young age, I just knew I wanted to be an artist. Like I think artistry in some sense was something I was going to do, right? And be in me. And so it was whatever came with that, I was willing to do. But it wasn't until much later that I really considered myself a poet. That I was like, I think I really want to publish my work, So it wasn't something I grew up necessarily thinking, but it was always in the back of my mind that whatever my artistry and creativity led me to, I would pursue from that point.
That's good stuff.
For sure.
Now, I have to ask you this here.
Absolutely.
I want to know, are you a Carolinas baby?
I am a Carolinas baby. Born and raised in Carolinas.
Born and bred?
Yeah, born and bred.
Which Carolina?
South Carolina. South Carolina for me, yeah.
From where?
So originally Columbia, South Carolina, and then I lived a little bit in Charleston, near Charleston, Moncks Corner area. I lived in Salisbury, North Carolina. And then came to college in Rock Hill here, and then I've been pretty much in this area since. So mostly South Carolina, but a little bit of North Carolina sprinkled in there too.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, honey. That's some good stuff right there.
For sure.
Now, so because you are a college graduate,
yes.
You joined the Brotherhood.
I did.
Alpha Phi Alpha.
Yes, ma'am.
Fraternity.
Yes, ma'am.
118 years
yes,
of scholarship service and Brotherhood. Tell us,
yeah,
what has the Brotherhood done for you or meant to you?
Yeah, thank you. So I mean, Alpha, like you said, Alpha Phi Alpha pledge in fall 2006 is when I joined fraternity. So for me, it was really it was two things that led me into it, and I'll tell you what kind of kept me being active too, right? So one was I'm a big personal history. So when I did my research on everybody, just to see what Alpha has done throughout history, with how they were founded, just as a study group for Black men to get together and study at an Ivy League. That's all it was. It wasn't stepping, it wasn't strolling, it wasn't any of the flashy things, right? It was just having community.
For real.
Right, and just in the brotherhood aspect. And so when I looked at that, and I just really saw what I wanted to be as a man, and I felt like it aligned perfectly with who I was. And so that's what got me to join, and I would say that's what sustained me too.
Yeah.
But even more so, the relationships. I've learned a lot. Like my first couple of jobs were because brothers who are alphas who saw something in me gave me the recommendations to apply for a certain job, or whenever I had hard times, or was struggling with something or needed assistance, there was always a brother there to help. So so that's the beautiful thing about being a part of a fraternity or a sorority for that matter too.
That's good.
Is that you have that connection and you have that relationship.
Yeah, community be strong.
Absolutely,
I love that.
Yeah,
good. That's good stuff. And so I won't even ask you the kind of stuff you had to do. To get in this.
Just a lot of reading, a lot of writing. That's it. That's it.
School days had me just God.
School, yeah. So you can't believe everything you see in the movies.
Big brother, I see.
Right.
But I love the movie though.
Yeah, great movie. It was great movie for sure.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go back in the day.
Yeah, let's go back.
So you mentioned that you. Well, number one, you a J. Cole. Are you a J. Cole fan?
I am a J. Cole fan.
So for our listeners, a lot of them know I'm a J. Cole fan.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that about you.
Okay. My hometown, Laureate.
Yeah, right there.
It's down the street.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say let's not, because we talking proper.
Yeah.
It's down the street. Okay.
On the street.
From Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And so J. Cole is like, the bomb.com.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So he had a song back in the day.
Yeah.
Called I Get Up.
Yeah.
Is that still one of your hype songs?
It is still one of my favorite songs. Yeah. So at the time I was making music, and I still every now and then do, but at the time I was making music and I just really kind of latched on to what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I just like, man, I thought it was a very inspirational song. That essentially, when you get down or things knock you down, you got to get back up, right? Yeah. So I Get Up. Just the thought of that was great, and I thought he was a great artist. Still do.
Yeah.
I really like him a lot. Yeah.
Jay is a beast.
Yeah,
he really is. I think he just released something recently too.
He did. So he re-released 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which was his album in 2014. He re-released it with new songs. And everything.
Okay, now J. Cole, you hear your fans talking about
Yeah. I'm a big Cole fan.
Yeah, we need some tickets. Don't play with it.
Right. Yeah.
Man, you gonna talk? Okay,
for sure.
Now, so because you are a man of many, many hats.
Yes.
Okay, and so you are also a singer and a songwriter. Now, what type of singer?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up singing in church. So my mom was a minister of music.
Okay.
So I would always be on the choir somewhere. We were all pretty much had to be singing, singing with her. So
what we talking tenor?
I was a tenor. Yeah, tenor. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah. See,
I used to be a tenor 1, which is the high notes. I'm probably more of a tenor 2 now, a little lower note. I can't hit those notes that I used to.
So that tenor 1 is more of the barge guy.
Yeah, exactly. Elder bar. Yeah, it's So I used to be up there, be able to hit those. I can't hit those as much.
Why is that?
Age, age and time.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, but so music was always a part of my life. When it came to writing songs, I was really a fan of R&B.
Yeah.
Grew up listening to Johnny Gill, Laureate, and all those people. So I would write R&B songs, and I would beat on a little. My mom had this dark black suitcase I would just beat on, and then back in those days you had the boombox where you can record, you put a cassette tape in there, you can record a song. So I made a whole mixtape of songs that I was singing to, just freestyling or what have you. And then eventually I did record and go to the studio and some things like that.
Okay.
But I also rapped as well, so lyricist. And so I made a mixtape back in 2011.
Yeah,
I'm kind of rapping and singing. I know you're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it now.
Kind of rapping and singing. So that's the kind of songs I did. For a little bit of time, I was a part of a songwriting camp. And we did. So the guys I was involved with that, I wasn't with them very long, but it was a great experience. And they worked with like Blackstreet and some up and coming artists from like Europe and overseas and stuff like that too. So
you
it
did
was
that
really cool.
Here in the Carolinas?
Yeah, that was up in Charlotte actually. Yeah. So that was really cool.
Wow,
that was really awesome. Yeah.
That's real huge right there.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Now, okay, so you talked about choruses.
Yeah.
Now you went to Winthrop.
I did.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So
Winthrop.
What you know about that? How about the Ebonites?
Oh, I know about the Ebonites. Yeah.
So it still exists?
It's coming back. So they were going for a little bit.
Okay.
But they've been revived for about 2 years now.
Okay, that's good. My husband was an Ebonite.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right then.
So we're gonna get you to do a little something later on. Okay? We're gonna let him shine right now. That is awesome. I love that, man. Now, so you sing R&B and gospel.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, regarding your writing, so what age do you think you were when that bug bit you?
In terms of writing, so the funny thing about it, right? Like I mentioned, like growing up singing.
Yeah.
I think writing was always a natural thing. I just didn't consider myself a writer, because I would write little songs, like I was just talking about, write things here and there. But it really was. So I think it always was something that was a part of me. My mom was a writer. My dad was a writer too.
That's good.
And so, but really, when I really discovered it, I would say it was like 7th grade.
Okay.
I had a teacher that just kind of introduced us to poetry and pretty much just like writing your feelings. And she just said, write down what you feel.
Yeah.
And I just remember feeling one of the first times feeling free, like. That's at that age, you're 7th grade, you're middle school.
Yeah.
All these adults are telling you what to do. They're telling you to clean up your room. They're telling you to study. They're telling you that. And it's very few times when an adult asks you to want to listen to what you're, have to say, right?
That's
and so this is one of the first times I remember thinking like, oh, this is really about me. It's not about me doing it because somebody else wants me to write a certain thing, but it's like just my thoughts and my emotions. And so from that point, I was a closet poet for a lot of years, where I didn't necessarily read my poems out to people. But I was always writing from that point. And then, later on in life, like when I got to college, it's when I really started exploring poetry and spoken word.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny how it be in the closet?
Right.
It's literally like when I met my husband, I had the keyboard in the closet, art equipment in the closet.
Yeah.
Just wasn't doing it. You know? Now, for me, for years, I always wanted an exclusive songwriter's contract.
Oh,
so I've been writing and playing by ear since I was 9.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
But me and the Lord, we're gonna talk about it this year.
Yeah, gotta bring it out. There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
I love that. Yeah,
we might have to collaborate.
Yeah, let's do it.
I know a lot of wonderful people now.
I'm down. Yeah, so I'm sure.
We're gonna bring the noise.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So, are you still writing?
I still write. Yeah.
Okay,
I still write.
Good.
Yeah, still write and perform
poetry.
Anything
right now?
I'm not really working on a project right now.
Okay.
But I will say I'm in. Definitely with the birth of my son.
Yeah.
I've been writing a lot and just about like fatherhood and what that looks like. And everything. So very still active with writing. It's still a big part of my life for sure.
That's good stuff.
Ma'am. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, since we talked about music,
your
mixtape, Declare War.
Yeah.
Is that still available for download?
It is. So that's so funny. I think when you sent me like some of the original things to talk about, like I was listening to it again the other day.
Yeah.
So it was a website called bandcamp.com that is on there. So I made that back in 2011. I think I made that mixtape, and it was a mixture of mostly me rapping, really, but there's a little bit of singing on there.
So both
as well. Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I definitely had a passion for as much as I love singing growing up, and I didn't mention I was in like all-state choir and stuff for college. I was singing college as well, like on the Winthrop choir, Winthrop chorale. But also like lyricism and rap was also a big part of who I was. Yeah. It was like Biggie and Rakim and Nas.
What you know about?
Yeah, I know, a little bit, I know a little something. So that was also, what I was trying to bring to the table.
How about oratorical contest?
Yeah. So I did. Well, you done some good research. Yeah. So, so in addition, another part of writing is what you're talking about, like essays and things like that. Yeah. So when I was a student at Winthrop, actually before that in high school, we had an oratorical competition. Yeah. And
honestly, that was for me.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So my mom got tired of taking me to all of that stuff. Well, anyway, so that's
yes, I did oratorical competitions and did fairly well at most of them as well.
Do they still do that right now? I've never heard anybody like talk of that recently.
Yeah,
or oratorical.
I don't think it's as widespread, but I know for us, for Alpha, for example, we have a national oratorical competition.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like they have it on the state level, and if you make it to past the state, you go to the regional level, and then you make it to the national. So it's still a thing that we do as an organization for sure. And I think it's like, some sororities also still do like orthogonals, and some for other fraternities too do like orthogonal competitions. So yeah.
All right.
It's still out there.
Okay. Now, so do you still have the CD copy? Was it called the Rough Draft?
It was called the Rough Draft, yeah, which is really crazy that you know the name of that, because
what's that all about?
Yeah, so the Rough Draft was, I'll be honest with you. So at the time when I made that, I was doing shows, like I was getting booked for poetry features.
Okay.
And people would always ask me, "Oh, do you have a CD? Do you have something to talk about?" And I didn't have one.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I need to put something together where I can at least, have something to sell and put together for at these events and shows that I have. So so it was like it was a short project, about six tracks or so, and it was pretty much like a cappella versions of poems that I had been doing and performing at the time. So yeah, I don't have any more like physical copies of that project, but that was really cool.
You was doing your thing though. That's what's
I was doing a little something. I was doing something. Yeah.
Wow. Now, Blank Slate Chronicles? That's 2012. Now, was that poetry or?
That was poetry too. So it was a mixture, and really, that project didn't like ever release because some of the things that I was putting there was part of the Rough Draft.
Okay.
And even some of the ideas were part of like the mixtape and things like that. But I am exploring probably next year, like doing a poetry project. Okay. And hopefully submitted it for the spoken word Grammy, because that's a new Grammy category now. Spoken word poetry Grammy. That's that's one of my goals. I've always wanted to win a Grammy or at least get nominated.
Yes, sir.
So I'm hoping that that's something that'll happen. So I'm speaking of fruition.
Man, let me tell you, that's where I'm going right there. Okay.
Yeah, I know it.
So now I love you had Dream Day challenges. I don't know if it was something that you got off of Instagram. I'll Be Your Dream Instagram photo challenge.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So you had copies of how you wanted your house. Yes. Your car, different things like that. And what I noticed, what I read was one of the challenges you said, what I need to know is it still a dream of yours to open a performing arts for at-risk youth?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. So at one point, my friends and I, and we probably will revisit it. Okay. But we were creating like a program called Project. It was going to be called Project Dream. Okay. That was going to be for at-risk kids, like in the arts and the performing arts. So yeah, that's definitely something I would love to do. And more than just a program, I think I would love to have a physical space, like a building. Yeah.
Now
where they can come in and learn different things.
Okay. The city of Rock Hill is due an arts center.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know about that pretty well.
Leahy, was one of my first persons that I
interviewed. Awesome. Yeah, I met Tyler a few times. Really good person.
He really is.
Yeah,
and
for
he's
sure.
from Chester, South
I didn't even know that. Okay,
wow.
Yeah. Okay.
He knew my husband's family and everything, and because my family. Well, it's a lot of woods.
Yeah, I believe it.
And they're tall too. And Todd is really tall.
Super tall.
So I was like, you would know those tall.
Right.
Just laugh, but he's good people.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm looking forward to when they open that Performing Arts Center. That'd be great.
That is going to be. It's so much talent here.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Carolinas, period.
For sure.
Rock Hill is not playing around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be good to have a space, because not a lot of spaces here that can hold more than 200-300 people. So I think that one's supposed to hold 800 folks. I think it is. Yeah. So that'd be great to have that here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, so you used to do this thing. It was called Artists in Flight. Now, at the meeting place, does that place? What was it, off of Percival Road?
I think it was downtown. I want to say it might have been off of Main Street. It doesn't anymore. Okay. So it wasn't my personal project, but there was a young lady named Raquel Sanders. Okay. She put that together. Yeah. I think maybe 20. You probably can tell me better. I could. 2010, 2011. Yeah. And she had like different artists. Yeah. Of different genres. There was spoken word. You had a couple of R&B artists. You had some hip hop in there. Yeah. And it was a really great event that she had put together. And I did it about 2 or 3 times for her. So. Okay. Yeah. That's good. Awesome. That's good. Now, and not only have you been doing poetry, but you've been hosting a lot of these cool events. Yeah. Like Mellow Mondays. Yes. Now, is that still happening? Not anymore. So Mellow Mondays was a project. I was like an open mic. I was doing that. It was called Firewater 110. That has closed, and it's now Burgers and Barley here in Rock Hill. Okay. Off of Cherry Road. Yeah. Near the school. Yeah, right across the street. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. We haven't been in, but I heard the burgers were really good. It's really good. Yeah, it is.
My hairdresser was telling me about that.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to
you should
get
check
over
it
there.
out. Yeah, you should check it out.
Okay.
But we used to have the event there, so I don't have that anymore. But now I do have an open mic at Vibes Lounge, which is right down the street.
Yeah.
And that's called Vibes and Verses that I do every second Sunday.
What's the address for Vibes?
Oh man, I don't.
But it's right here. It's off of South Anderson Road.
Yeah, I don't want to say the wrong address.
Vibes with the S or Z?
It's Vibes with a Z.
With a Z.
Yeah, Vibes with a Z.
So
VIBEZ. Yeah.
Okay.
Vibes Bar and Lounge. Yeah, really great. Shout out to the owner Ty and Kibi, who kind of allowed me to have the space and to do stuff there. So it's been really good.
And for a long time, I always wondered what that was.
Oh right,
I thought the name was so cool.
Yeah,
I was like, it's got to be something fun. Yeah,
it's great. It's a nice black-owned business. They have painting on the wall, paintings on the wall, and everything. So it's a really good spot, really good space. Yeah.
Now, this is back in the day, but boy, we used to love it. The Wind Up in Charlotte.
Yeah,
I miss that place.
Man,
it doesn't exist no more, right?
It doesn't. It doesn't, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's actually where I started. I would say I got my start more so. Maybe not my start, but like early in my career, performing at the Wind Up. Yeah, it was.
The ambiance was just on point.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great space. I feel like the beautiful thing about the Wind Up, and I've been trying to like create a similar thing anytime I've hosted events somewhere. Yeah, is just it was a real community, right? Like that's right. The poets that would always go there every week, and perform, and so we got to know each other, that kind of thing. The audience would come. It'd be probably different people every time, but when people would come back, like, oh, I remember you. I remember like being out sometimes in Charlotte. I know you. I just saw you perform the Wind Up on Thursday, right? So I think it was a really cool environment.
Yeah, the Noda
very special. Yeah, right. In Noda, they were curated over there. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not there anymore. No, but JC, who was doing this stuff there, he's still doing events all over the city. Okay, because we used to run into him often, but it's been a while. It's been some years since we've seen him. Yeah. JC's he's still out active. Okay. He does stuff with Taylor Smoke and. Which is like a cigar bar in Concord. He does events there. He does events all over the city, Huntersville.
Yeah, he stays busy.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to JC he always anytime he has an event or something like that or has an opportunity, he always reaches out for me to perform too. That's good. It really means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, now, so the Charlotte though, do they still have that National Poetry Slam?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Slam Charlotte. Yeah. Okay. So Slam Charlotte is the poetry team.
Slam Charlotte.
The main poetry team. There's another one too called Perspective Mike.
Okay.
And I've been a part of that one as well. But Slam Charlotte is 4-time National Poetry Slam champions. Okay. And so I was a part of one of those teams, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of great poets have come through there, and going on to do other things or still around. Blues, who does a lot of stuff for the Hornets and for the Panthers. He's a part of that. Okay. As well. So yes, ma'am.
Now, when you look back on your list of goals, or the challenges that you may have had, you really have manifested a lot of things, and so like I think about a conversation that you had, because you are no longer at Winthrop. We're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And so after 9 years of serving as director of campus programming, advisory, and you've had some true life moments, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, but how was that experience in that position?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was one of my dream jobs. So when I was a student at Winthrop, I was a part of the programming board. Mm-hmm. So when I came back to work at Winthrop, that position advised the programming board. So it was really great to put on different events for the campus community and meet different artists. And I just also have formed like different connections with students. Like I still call them my kids, a lot of them to this day. And they might have families of their own, what have you. But it's really a beautiful thing to be a part of them, like experiencing college and more than just going to class and going home. But really taking in the full opportunity and experience there. So that was great. So it was a tough thing to leave.
I bet.
But I think we all have phases and things, and you have growth and evolution. So I think it was just time for me to look into something different and kind of expand what I've learned there and do something in the same vein but a little bit different.
A little bit different, yeah. Now, because in that role alone, you were married.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
You suffered loss.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you became a poet laureate.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You published a book.
Yes.
You got engaged.
Yes.
We have a baby. You heard I said we have a baby.
Yes, we got a baby. Yes. We need some babysitters. Oh, I definitely will. Yeah, I'm hold you to that. Okay. I'm hold both of y'all to that.
That's good, man.
Yeah. A lot happened for sure. Like you said, while I was there. So I think it's a blessing. One of the things that when I first came back, because I was working somewhere else
Yeah.
before I started back in Winthrop, and one of my friends was like, I think you really came back so that you could do all of these different things, right? So that my late wife and I, we met at Winthrop. So I think part of it coming back was to complete that circle of sorts. I think that was one thing. I think the opportunity to be a poet laureate wouldn't have happened had I not come back to Rock Hill and worked at Winthrop. So I think everything happens
full circle.
Yeah, full circle in the way that it's meant to. So even though there's been some challenging times in there, I think it's been way more positive and
so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love how you pay homage to her every birthday.
Yes, ma'am.
In the anniversary. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank
you. And I love the fact that I know your fiance, because you want the kind of woman that's strong enough that they can deal with that.
Yeah.
Because, know, some people can't, that was your ex and this.
Right.
No, we're not doing that.
Right.
So I commend. That's huge.
Yeah. I give her love and support for all that all the time, because I know that's not an easy thing. And when you date someone, you don't imagine dating a widower. So and probably even what that comes with. And so I'm sure there was some growing pains in the beginning for her. Just both of us is understanding what that is, but she's always been supportive and always, we have conversations about how I feel about things, how she feels. So it's been great. She's been supportive. My family, I'm still really close to my late wife's family too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
and that's huge.
Yeah, so that's been great, and they've embraced my fiance now. So
look at God.
You're right.
I tell you, God is showing out.
It's amazing.
You know what to do.
I'm telling you,
he's a beautiful man.
I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing for sure.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get out there, sir.
No, you're fine.
I'm gonna start crying.
You can.
So now you've hosted over 500 events, more, and still going.
Yeah.
And so I just think that's awesome in itself.
Thank you.
And now, so in that position, is this where More God Than Dead was birthed? When did it come to life?
Yeah, I was definitely still working at Winthrop for sure. Okay. That's what you mean there. But the idea behind it, thank you. The idea behind that was when the pandemic hit, in 2020, I had always had ideas for writing a book, but I feel like I didn't maybe have the time or just really dedicate the time to sit down and start writing.
Yeah.
So when I started writing, the first thing that was really heavily in my mind was my grief journey and, kind of like navigating what that looked like, having had my late wife pass. At that point, it was about three years.
Okay.
And so really More God Than Dead was kind of birthed as a way for me to not only process that myself and deal with it, but also provide like a guideline for people who are dealing with grief, whether it be from a spouse, whether dealing with a parent or a friend. I think it's something we all deal with. And one thing I realized when it happened for me is that we don't really have a lot of conversations, particularly in the Black community. We don't talk about what grief looks like. We don't talk about how to navigate that.
Right. That's right.
And
or mental illness.
Mental illness. We don't talk about that, and like the stages of grief. And one of them is depression, right? Like you can be depressed from that. You can deny this thing even happened. And so I just really felt like part of my life's work still is to help educate people and kind of like demystify that whole thing.
That's good.
Because we're all going to experience it in some form.
Truth.
In our life, right? And so I think it's better to like, talk about it and normalize the conversation. So that's where the book came from.
Okay.
And pretty much like processing my journey of grief and kind of what it's like to go through it, go in it, and kind of get out of it as well. Or at least deal with it in a better way.
I love the fact that about the support groups that they have out there for you, and how you're meeting different people.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's important because I was just talking to a lady earlier today, and she was of a different race, but it's just funny, we were having the same conversation, and I was like, wow, you just automatically wouldn't not think that they're going through the same thing that you're going through.
Right, yeah.
Just talking about the holidays and things of that nature.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool, man.
Absolutely.
So I commend you on that. Now,
thank you.
So you did tell me that your favorite poet, one of them, was Langston Hughes. Who else would it be?
Oh man, Langston Hughes is a big one for sure. Current poets that are in my head right now, Nikki Giovanni, unfortunately she just passed. Yeah. She just transitioned. Jericho Brown is another. Yusef Komayaka. Man, Black Ice, who's a spoken word artist, one of my favorite of all time. Had the opportunity to open up for him years ago. Those are just a few, but I have a really good group of poet friends.
That's good.
That are just amazing, right? And so Jay Ward, who's a poet laureate in Charlotte, I was just with him earlier. Is also an amazing person. Glenn is Redmond from Greenville, South Carolina. So there's some amazing poets
that's good.
Yeah, that were inspiration.
Community.
Yes, it's about that. Yeah, for sure.
Good. Yeah. Now, I'm going to step back and come right back to you.
Okay.
All right, now. So we're going to get into it. Now, I got to ask you this question.
Sure.
How old do you think you were when you saw the movie Love Jones?
Oh, man. Love Jones? What year was that? Like 95?
97.
7?
Yeah.
97, I would have been 11.
Okay. I was gonna say,
11 years old.
What you doing watching that 11 years old? Well, that movie was so good.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good movie.
We were talking about really good, Black love story movies.
Yeah.
Brown Sugar.
Oh yeah. I love that one.
My God, what was the other one, baby? Love and Basketball.
Yep, good one too. Yeah, I love that one. Love that one.
But I don't care how many times you watch. I can watch Love Jones
all day.
over and over again. Yes, I loved it. And I love the fact that they both were creative artists.
Right, I like that too.
And so, because to me, it made a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they could talk about a lot of things and kind of, throw ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
And now, so do you still perform or remember the poem, The Letter to Your Unborn Child?
Yeah, what's funny about it, before we even set this whole thing up, when my son was born, I was thinking about that poem. I don't have it memorized much anymore, but I definitely remember, most of it, and I have it recorded. I think it's on YouTube as well. So to kind of like think about what I was thinking of fatherhood.
You manifested that, baby.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, all these years later.
That is all so
these years
good.
Later, but yeah, it was amazing to write that and to kind of see it now as well. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about this here, because how I met you was at CPCC through John Tosco.
Yes.
And so you tell us what you do now currently at CPCC.
Yeah, well, actually, so I work with Tosco Music. So I'm the program director for Tosco Music. And so kind of using some of what I did at Winthrop that we just talked about in terms of planning and hosting events. So I manage the logistics of events, whether that's to run the show, how things flow and organize.
Yeah.
We had our big Fab Fest event.
Yeah.
So we work with different vendors and things like that.
He does a lot of events.
We do. I think about over 100 events a year, typically. We have 3 or 4 really big ones that are ours, but he books artists to do stuff all across the city.
Yeah.
So we do things called Tosco music parties, and so we had our holiday party last week.
Hey, John.
That was awesome. What's up, John? So we do that. So I pretty much manage all the backstage, back of the house things for those events. So it's a lot of moving parts, but it's been really good.
Yeah. See, so full circle.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had I not met you then, I would not have even known now what you do.
Right, yeah.
So who would have thought? I'm talking to this man. He a celebrity, Chad. I might get your autograph too before we go.
Please.
And so now you are highly respected, period. And definitely in the literary community. Now, so you are poet Laureate of Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's a huge accomplishment, man.
Thank you.
Wow, that's major. Now, this is an honorary position in a group or a region for people who don't know.
Right,
because everybody don't know.
Yeah, I like that. You breaking it down. That's great.
Yeah. And so, because someone asked me a while ago, and I was like, I will talk about it.
Yeah.
Because he likes to talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for those who don't know, and how does one gain such an honor?
Yeah, so it's different depending on what city or state you're in, but typically, as it was for me, there's an application process and there's an interview process. So you have to submit poems, you have to talk about what you want to do in the role, what you accomplish.
Yeah.
And so for me, after all that was said and done, then I was selected. And honestly, the real story of it, when I applied the first time, I wasn't selected. And then the poet laureate they chose resigned after a little bit of time. And then they came to me directly after that. So I didn't have to apply after the second time. They just knew, which is, I think that says a lot about, even though if you get denied for something the first time, that when it's time for you to get it, it's your time to get it, right? So that's essentially what a poet laureate, how the process of becoming one is. And then when you're in the role, you do events. The idea is to educate the community about poetry and literacy. So I do school visits a lot. I do residencies where I go into a school for a whole week and teach kids, different types of poetry and different ways to write.
I love that.
Open mics in the community. I created a poetry festival here in Rock Hill as well. So that's kind of all the things that you do in the role.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that the Library of Congress chooses a nation.
Yeah, U.S. Poet Laureate. Yeah, I would love to get that one. That's one of my career goals is hopefully becoming U.S. Poet Laureate.
Yeah, we just put that out in the universe, y'all.
Yeah, and every state, most states have a state poet laureate as well.
Yeah.
South Carolina does not have one currently. The governor's been kind of, I don't know what to say about that other than that they haven't made a decision.
Special is a good
for
word
that.
For
yeah.
And this tradition, it dates back to 1937.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Poet laureates have been around for a while.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's major.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, so what makes poetry? Does it have to rhyme?
Not at all. No, not at all. I mean, poetry, the way I see it is poetry is at the beginning of any other form of writing, right? So when you think about magazines, you think about articles, even movie scripts, all of those things use poetic devices. So you use similes, you use metaphor, you use hyperbole to exaggerate something, right? You use emotion. And so poetry pretty much is in all of those, things. Even on Instagram, you see people write a caption as them on a beach somewhere and they'll make up something. The wind is floating in my hair. It sounds poetic because it is. It's a part of poetry too. So poetry doesn't have to rhyme as long as it's true to you, it's authentic. As long as you use those different techniques, it's still poem regardless.
So if you had to separate spoken word opposed to poetry, what would be the difference? Is it more theatrical with the spoken word? Yeah.
So here's what I say. I don't think it's a difference. I think spoken word is what I would call a genre of poetry.
Gotcha.
Right. So you have people that might more they don't want to perform. They might just want to write their poems and read them. Right. That's page poetry. You have spoken word with more performance. You might have people that write haiku poems, which are short poems. Yeah. So it's just a form of poetry.
See,
so
I was just going to ask you about the writing style.
Yeah.
This man, he's not playing with me.
That's the thing, because a lot of people think spoken word and poetry are different, but to me, spoken word is a type of poetry. It's just a matter of how you do it for you.
How you do it for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Now, so how did you come up with the name? Eye-am-bic.
Yeah, I think this is a funny story. So I was in college. I was already performing poetry and doing stuff. I was dating a young lady, and she said that I only could express myself in iambic pentameter. So iambic pentameter is like a meter of form in poetry.
Okay.
And so essentially she was saying, I don't know how to express my feelings to her. I can only do it in a poem. And so I was like, nah, I don't, whatever. And she said, wait a minute, Iambic. I'm like, what about it? She's like, that's a cool name. I'm like, nah, it's whack, And then later, but later I'm like, man, I kind of do like that name, And so I kind of just changed the spelling of it. So I like to say, I see what I am what I write.
I like that.
Yeah, so yes, ma'am.
You ain't got no trademark on it.
I don't. I need to.
No, we're trying to take our ideas. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think it all worked out. Shout out to Tasha wherever she's at for saying that all those years ago.
That is so powerful, Tasha. Woo! Now, one of your flyers, in your announcement, it reads, One Word Poetry Presents.
Oh,
so is this an entity of yours, or how does
great. Thank you. Yeah, great questions, by the way. So I created the One Word Poetry Festival.
Okay.
Back in 2021.
Yeah.
So when I became Poet Laureate, that was one of my projects that I wanted to do, was create a poetry festival in Rock Hill.
Okay.
And so now, I'm also transitioning that into a nonprofit. So I like to kind of brand everything under One Word Poetry.
Yeah.
Whether it's a festival, whether it's like residencies or workshops I do. So that's where that comes from. So that's the entity right now. So in the process.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So it's already recognized through the state as a nonprofit, but I'm trying to get my 501c3 be federally funded and get grants and sponsorships and those kind of things.
All right, fam. Yeah. Grants and sponsorships.
Right. There we go. Donate.
That's right. That's right. Now, even though you've been doing this for a while, as a poet, do you still get any stage jitters or?
Oh yeah, every time.
I can't tell it.
Yeah, every time. Yeah.
I can't see that.
Every time. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think if you don't get jitters or a little bit of nervousness, I think it means it doesn't mean something to you.
Yeah.
Right. So I enjoy getting the nerves, and then I just channel that into energy. when I'm performing. It may not be like the same kind of like when I first started, right? Like crippling nerves, but when I feel nerves, I'm like, oh, this is good. It's gonna be a good show. If I don't feel nerves, I'm like, something's off.
Something's off. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good to have that discerning spirit.
Yeah, for sure.
And now, are you still doing the Up Next Poetry Series?
Yeah. So Up Next is so one of my projects when I became Poet Laureate was to create a Youth Poet Laureate, and to do which we have our third one now, Genesis Medley, and then to do like workshops and events for youth and poetry. So we're kind of like developing what this next year is going to look like since Genesis just got in the role. But we've been doing like a rather random readings and workshops and things like
libraries, right?
Yeah, so I work with them to do that stuff as well. So it's still a thing that's going. I want to keep it going.
Now, because you are who you are and you do what you do. Y'all hear me rhyming over here. How about your podcast that you had? Poet Up. I love the name.
Oh yeah. So I can't take credit. So actually there's I'm not like part of the main cast of that. There's 3 other poets: Jay Ward, Blues, and Jamal Cowan. But I was a guest on there. They're really good friends of mine.
That's awesome.
And but it's a really really cool podcast. They talk about poetry, and all its different forms and things like that. It's a really fun. They interview different poets that come on there too. So I was interviewed. Talk to them about
I love that. So it's always a community. I'm huge on community.
Exactly.
Now, and so you've accomplished so many things in such a little time.
Thank you.
If you had to do anything differently, what would you do?
If I had to do something different. I honestly don't like to look at life with regrets. I think everything happens for a reason, and so I don't necessarily have that, I don't really have that. I think I am where I am because I'm supposed to be where I am right now.
Stay right there.
Yeah.
Preach. That's right. That's right. I believe everything has purpose.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Me and you running into each other at everything has purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
And because we are here to intercede on each other's behalf.
Yeah.
Help one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out here in this big old world.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we have to do.
How can people find you?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's angelogeter.com, ANGELOGETER.com. On Instagram, it's at Eye-am-bic, which is EYEAMBIC. Facebook is Angelo T. Jeter on there as well. I don't really use Twitter and those kind of things, but those other 3 are the main places you can reach me if you want to see what I have going on.
Now, are you available for bookings?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I love doing, all different types of community events.
Yeah.
Performing colleges, corporations. I do commissions poems as well. So if you want to write a poem for a certain event,
so
I can do that as well.
A poem, and you could.
I can ghostwrite it for you. I could. Or you want me to write one and perform it for both of y'all? You did something. I've done that.
That is
done weddings as well.
Weddings too?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So I'm pretty much open to do whatever.
Good.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It just that avenue. It just opened up a whole nother world for you.
Yeah, it did.
That
really did.
I love that. I love you. Wow. So now, and your books. I got my book on Amazon.
Yes.
Okay. Is that where the people can go to get your book?
You can go to Amazon. I do have a website, like I mentioned, so you can also purchase it there. AngeloJeter.com. So I would say that would be my first option to tell you to go to my website because I get all the profits from that as well. And then I can also sign your book and mail it off. So I did that when I first released it. A lot of people purchased from the website and I signed it and everything, sent it back to them. So.
Okay.
Yes,
oh man, this is good. Yeah. And it is Eyeambic, EYE.
AM.
BIC.
Yes.
Okay. On Instagram.
On Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, y'all. All right, family. All right. Are y'all ready? Now, Brother Jeter.
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot thank you enough
for
coming on this podcast. And I hope that you're going to bless us here with the poem.
Sure. Yeah.
Yay, us. All right. Well, wow. You heard it from here, family. Local, not local, but definitely famous around these parts. Y'all be blessed.
So for as long as I can remember, my mother has been the strongest woman I've ever known. A queen whose face is made of stone, jigsaw puzzles in her teeth, piecing the truth together. Her eyes are bridges that connect the past with the future. And she's what I like to call a straight shooter. Will tell you exactly what she feels, doesn't care what you think or how you feel about it, wears a heart on a collarbone like a diamond necklace, holds pyramids in her palm, So you can feel the royalty in her embrace when she hands you a fistful of compassion. And my mama holds a monument like a heart. Hieroglyphics in her tongue decipher the elegance in her speech. She is a small, a strong, and proud woman. Woman will put on high heels just to walk to the grocery store. Will put on full makeup and get her face beat to the gods just so she can walk to the gas station because she believes that queens should never leave the house looking like peasants. And she's a superstitious woman who believes that aspirin and vinegar can heal anything. And I'm talking arthritis, gout, scoliosis, coronavirus, the flu, you name it. She thinks these things can heal it. And that's why I love her so much. She makes ordinary things seem remarkable. Like how she can take a 50-cent box of noodles, add some milk, egg, and cheddar, make the most delicious pan of macaroni and cheese you ever tasted in your life. So good, it made Jesus smack his own mom. Rumor has it that she went for Bigfoot in the headlock, smacked Godzilla in the face and told him that his breath stank, killed a Moby Dick, rolled him in flour, threw it in a pan and called it a fish fry. Yo, my mama is a gangster. I'm convinced she's thrown a couple bodies in the river. Because when I was younger, she performed drive-by butt whippings on me with a switch, a hanger, extension cord if I ever got out of line. And when she was done, she let me cry. Reminded me that she ain't raised no punk. Showed me that being a man had nothing to do with the size of your genitalia, but everything to do with the enormity of your character. My mama had the strength of Harriet Tubman, the grace of Cleopatra, and the style of Michelle Obama. She is a war machine with missiles shooting from her tongue that have stopped men dead in their tracks and brought them down to her knees. Living proof that the most dangerous weapon in America is the voice of a black woman. And it proves that black lives do matter because she has birthed them and raised them and fought for them more than she has fought for herself. Because my mom was also a survivor. And just this past year, she fought the biggest battles yet. The giant named cancer and the titan named heart disease. And although one of those still her chest, it can never be strong enough to steal her heart, not vigilant enough to cut off her air supply, because now she is the air, a floating force too big to escape, yet too small to hold on to. A constant reminder that, yeah, God sent a son to save us. He created a woman to raise us.
Yes.